Hi folks, welcome. This is Southend ParaQuest. I'm Adam, and yes, this is Southend ParaQuest. At least as it for right now, the channel will be going into its final incarnation this week, which will be ParaQuest UK, and we'll have a new logo to put onto the channel as well. So that will be our final incarnation. It's basically to reflect a more national nature to the channel, as much as we're all sort of based in the Southend area. Southend and the surrounding areas only has so much it can give us in reflection of paranormal spiritual content. Obviously there's areas to look outside. So that will be changing this week. We will be called ParaQuest UK. That will be our final incarnation. And we will hopefully, now that I've got on top of a lot of other jobs that I've had to deal with this year, other than doing the video editing, the jobs have mainly been in town with the boat, because as I pointed out, I've moved to a different boatyard, which is sort of more central to my work and things. So I've had a lot to deal with in that respect. Most of that is now done. I've still got one or two aspects to deal with, but they're not as pressing a nature as what they have been. So now hopefully we can get some more energy put into the channel and looking at some sites to go and visit. We did start that a couple of weeks ago. We were supposed to go and chase a couple up. As I said, events kind of took over and I ended up going elsewhere, but hopefully now we can crack on once the Easter weekend's out of the way. That in itself is going to be interesting, because the Southend Shakedown is back on Monday. That's the motorcycle event, for which I was chair for a couple of years, and it's now gone back into the hands of the ACAF. So I'm going to look forward to attending that as a punter rather than the stressed out guy. The last couple of times, and I was there at 6 o'clock and get home 6 in the morning, and they go until like 8 at night. But anyway, that's by the by. So as I said, the channel is now going to move to ParaQuest UK. We'll have a new logo, and we'll be stepping on from there. And as I said, to reflect the national nature and visiting sites. And obviously, if you watched our last bit of content, which was the Canvey bomber, that's kind of one of them. Now, that visit, if you've not seen it already, obviously go back. It was the last bit of recorded content that went out. It was last week. It was something that I was always niggling at me to go and do, because I always felt that I couldn't relax until I knew that if there's any spirit stuck out there from the crash of Heavenly 17, that we've done all we can to make sure that any spirits that may be stuck are at rest. And that final visit is a final visit. There's nothing more to go back there for. Possibly something historical, who knows? That will be in the lap of the gods. So yes, whilst that bomber has been all covered, we do still have to visit All Hallows, which is the other side of the estuary in Kent. And we've already been there a couple of times, but it was kind of hard work with both. I'd say hard work on both times. The first time actually wasn't, because it was just me and Stella, so it was just initially to go over and see, what we could pick up in that respect. And it was really interesting because, I say interesting, it's not quite the right word, but on that first occasion when Stella and myself went, it was there's a holiday park, with the static caravans, and the place, there's a memorial to where that bomber B-17 crashed, and the easiest way to it is to go through the holiday park. Now, when I went with Stella, as I said, it was out of season, and the security just let us on, so we could go straight down to where the site was, and we got what we got. So that being that, but it was always a feature to go back to the site And when I eventually did, it was, I think it was Tracy, Ricky, Rudy, and myself. Um, and when we returned for the second visit, how can I put this? Um, Security decided they weren't going to let us on site this time, which took me by surprise, as I say, because we'd already been there. And I said to them, "Look, I've been down here once before to do this, and you were fine with it. And now on this occasion, you're not going to let us do it." So we ended up having to literally drive around the houses to try and find a pathway down to where the memorial is. And we started going down what thought was a road, but it was just like a glorified path. And oh my days, that was yeah. Rudy was in fits of laughter watching us try, as we were trying to drive down there. But anyway, we got to the site. Rudy picked one or two things up, but it was I can't remember if it was a bit. I think it might have been a little bit frustration because we couldn't get as much as what I thought we'd get. I'm not quite sure whether the guys that lost their lives on that B-17, because this was the bomber that crashed at All Hallows, the B-17 that crashed at All Hallows, was the one that collided with the B-17 that crashed by Canvey. The one that crashed by Canvey, out of the crew, 3 perished, whereas the one that come down at All Hallows, I think only 1 survived. So whilst I'm now satisfied regarding the crew of Heavenly Body, I've got this niggling thing to go back and check All Hallows, but that's going to require a bit more work. Hopefully, because we didn't expect not to be let on site previous time, what I'm going to do is get in contact with the camp and see if we can secure it in advance that we can go down there and they'll let us on this time. So, but anyway, that's up there. Yeah, as I say, that's up there, and we'll keep you posted on that. So yes, okay, so yeah, as I say, go back and watch the last bit on Canvey. Yeah, it was an emotional experience. Knowing that what they gave out their lives to, so we could keep our freedoms. Which given good old two-tier Kieran, his Stasi, sorry police. No, they're dealing with us at the moment. That's got a big question mark over it, but that's another discussion. Yeah, I mean, those guys, they were barely out their teens, and they've gone to do this for us. They come from a foreign country, a foreign land, and they ended up giving their lives. The least we can do is help them out if they needed it. So, yeah, as I say, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to All Hallows and make sure we've done all we can for the guys that come down there. So that kind of leads on a little bit to the next bit of recorded content. Now, and I already said in some previous videos that it's going to be 1 week live stream, 1 week recorded content. Unfortunately, this month, and going by this month, it probably won't be the only month, but this month we've actually got a sort of a 2 week gap between live streams. So, yeah, we had the round table, which was essentially 3 weeks ago, and then the next live stream, which is the Oscar meeting, will be Monday. So there's 2 weeks where nothing's happening. So this week will be recorded content again, and it's funny how it's just kind of tied in. I'm just looking at my channel content dashboard at the moment, and I've just realised the connection, because the content that's coming up this week is a return to RAF Manston. Now, again, this is Ghost Hunter Crew. There's some different guys there doing some different bits and pieces. The RAF Manston didn't disappoint on the previous visit, and this time it didn't either. Got some great stuff out of this place. So that is the content that's coming up. So yes, usually there would be, how our channel will work is 1 week of live streams, 1 week of recorded content, alternating. But if there's a point where one of the live streams falls on an odd day or an odd date, I should say, there might be a period where there's a couple of weeks between live streams. So then you'll get a couple of weeks recorded content. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to make sense of it in my head. So yeah, anyway, right, I've waffled on for 10 minutes now. So yeah, just the pointers. Channel name changing to PowerQuest UK. We will have a new logo, and our next live stream is Monday the 21st, so that's Easter Monday. Hopefully I'll still be awake after the Southend Shakedown. But yeah, the next live stream will be Easter Monday. And the next piece of recorded content will be tomorrow night, and it's a return to RAF Manston. That's about all I can think of at the moment, because I've had so much going on last week. It's been a bit hectic, but we are. Anyway, thanks for watching. God bless the lot of you. Love and light to you all. And I hope you've been enjoying the decent weather. And let's keep our fingers crossed that Easter stays dry, at least. Anyway, see you later. Bye-bye.